Hey everybody, another GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer the Horus Heresy, the Libers. These are a lot of book. And they were kindly sent to me by Games Workshop as advance review copies, complimentary copies to review, and contain all of the additional army list information to play Warhammer the Horus Heresy. So it's basically add-ons to this big thing here. So you had this big old 2 inches of rulebook followed by 4 more inches of rulebook. Now, what's nice and what this video is going to contain, which is probably the core information most people are going to want to kind of know as they plan out their projects and stuff, is the Crusade army lists for Space Marine Legions. Now, if you are a Warhammer 40,000 player, what does that mean? That means the parent army list for your Legion is the same across both these books. So don't worry about, if you're watching this video, if you're planning on doing a Loyalist or a Traitor Legion, the first third of this book is identical in both these, because the idea in the Horus Heresy is you had these formations, these original legions, which before they were reunited with their Primarch were kind of all pretty much the same. They were equipped from the same forges, being led by just like Praetors and Tribunes and these like sort of like high-ranking captains that the Emperor put in charge of legions themselves. And they're out crusading, trying to reclaim the Primarchs and take back the galaxy. So the initial steps of the Great Crusade, everything's the same. And so what you have is you have a parent army list that takes up in both of these books the first, oh geez, how many pages? Up to the appendices, which are basically the same as well, up to the first 140 out of 340 pages. So 200 pages dedicated to the traders in this book, 140 to the core rules, and I think it's absolutely identical in this book here. Yep, 140 pages to 335. So you're looking at 200 pages of stuff for Legions and 140 pages of stuff that apply to both. So I'm just gonna grab Liber Astartes, mostly because these are all Astartes. And in this video, I'm gonna go through those core 140 pages. I'm not gonna go line by line through it. That would be, I mean, look at this thing. Look at this tome. That would be madness. But I'm gonna do individual videos on the supplement chapters and Rites of War for those like legions themselves. So buckle up for 19 videos. There's tons to process here. If you're a Horus Heresy fan like I am, this is the stuff you've been dying to know since the game was released, and that will help you inform sort of like your purchasing and your decisions going forward. So I figured I'll do one big video on the core stuff that applies to both books, and then I'll dive in Legion by Legion and do individual videos, and that'll mean I don't have like a 4.5, 7, 8, 9.5 hour video that's just like chaptered everywhere. That would be obnoxious and terrible, and nobody wants to watch that. So let's jump in. So of those 140 pages, and again, I'm looking at the Liber Astartes here, you're not going to find much difference between the two because they're effectively all killer, no filler. It's rules front to back. You are from the 10th page, basically, in these color sections, some beautiful Lionel Johnson and the Dark Angel stuff here, looking at the army list. And the army list is the core part and then the expanded part. We're going to focus on the core part today. The core part, of course, being what all the Space Marine Legions basically share. And that's this right here. So all army list profiles have core and expanded units. All the units in this book are core units. These represent the mainstay of the Legions of Astartes and are supported by a wide range of miniatures. Expanded units will have rules for them provided in supplementary PDF downloads from the Games Workshop website, White Dwarf Magazine, or other places. Both types of units may be freely used in any Horus Heresy battle, and this category does not affect their availability as part of an army or detachment of the rules. So what's that saying? That's saying there's gonna be more than just this book. So if you don't have your favorite unit that might have existed before, character that might have been in the previous incarnation of this game, or unit subtype that was available to you in first edition Horus Heresy, don't worry, it's coming. It may be a free PDF, it may be something that you find in a White Dwarf. It could be way down the road, but there's just two, like they've synthesized all of the previous Horus Heresy books into 2 big tomes here, and that was a lot. So core is what's in this book, and that includes all of the individual Legion rules. Expanded is going to be the extra stuff that comes in the future. And then building an army. So the Legion Astartes X special rule, this is just the same thing as in 40k, giving you guys a keyword to make yourself a specific Legion. And then if you are Traitor or Loyalist, now that is really up to the player. There are examples of everybody basically choosing different sides. I initially, when I played Horus Heresy, chose Alpha Legion because it just meant it always made sense. If someone came in to play a game with me, the battle never didn't make sense. It wasn't like traitor Blood Angels fighting loyalist Ultramarines. It's the Alpha Legion. They do what they do, right? They fight everybody. At some point, they're going to have fought against everybody. And then you have your force organization charts and detachments. Now, the game runs off a single force org chart here, for the most part with the core units, but there are what's called rights of battle, and what they'll typically do is change the battlefield role of certain units in this army list to allow them to fit in as troops. So what that means usually is, like Pride of the Legion is a very popular one from first edition. It's still in here. It makes Legion veteran tactical squads, Terminator squads, basically all the elite veteran guys in the Legion into troop choices, which is cool. And it gives them the line rule as well. It means if you want, you can still take like an ultra elite army. There's even Legion specific rights of battle that allow you to take formations that wouldn't normally have even fit into this force organization chart by having like their special Legion stuff unlock different battlefield roles. So this is a pretty familiar force organization chart if you are playing, if you've ever played older 40k. It's effectively the original one. It's got slightly padded out in the HQ and elites detachments. So 3 HQs, it's kind of a battalion from current 40k. 6 troops, 2 are mandatory and 1's mandatory, so a bit different from regular 40k, or 9th edition rather. You can take 4 elite choices, 3 fast, 3 heavy, 1 fortification, and a Primarch. This is the same as in the core rulebook. An optional Lords of War detachment, that can be from your army list, and then an optional Allied detachment, which can be somebody else. And of course, we still have the Allied Matrix here, which we've already seen, Sword Brothers through to by the Emperor or War Master's command. Then you got your Warlords. They get their rights of war, their Warlord traits. Some characters come with set ones, means you can't pick one for them, like all the special characters in the Death of Your Warlord. The core Warlord traits, same as in the core rulebook, so Bloody Handed, Stoic Defender, and Ever Vigilant, basically give you an extra reaction in different phases. So all that stuff kind of the same as in this big rulebook right here, but conveniently kind of reprinted in case you need it. So we're into the core army list. Now again, all these are core troops. We're into the main army list, the non-Legion specific army list right now, starting with HQs. So the first thing, probably the most important unit in the army list that isn't a Primarch, is your Praetors. This is the build your own Space Marine Captain. Space Marine Captain, there's actually only 2 HQ types in here, really. There's Praetors with different armor. I'm not really sure why they didn't just make the armor upgrades part of the core like thing. They didn't. And then Centurions. And the Centurions can all be made different types of consoles, and all of your little sub-characters come from the console. So if you're looking for like, where's my Librarian, where's my this, where's my that, they're all in here. They all are just an upgrade for the basic Centurion. Centurion was kind of a legionary catch-all for a guy who's not like a Praetor, who's not a captain. And every Legion had their own titles for all these things too, so don't worry, don't get stuck too much in the terminology if you're not a big Horus Heresy like lore nut. It basically means big character, little character in the Space Marine Legions, and they have different stuff. So you've got a wide variety of options for the Praetors. Remember, your Legions themselves will allow you kind of extra options and stuff too. So for instance, my Raven Guard Legion you saw I painted up for the Horus Heresy Open Day. I have the option to give Dark Talons to all of my, I think they're called Dark Talons. They're Raven Talons. Basically like expanded Lightning Claws. It's a 5-point upgrade. If I gave this guy Lightning Claws, I could also upgrade them to my Legion-specific Lightning Claws. All the Legions have kind of something like that, and you'll be able to see those in the specific Legion videos. So there could be more for this guy that's not on here. He has the same status in the core box set, same keywords and stuff too. Some additional stuff though, rights of war. If an attachment to Legion of Astartes faction includes at least one model with the Master of the Legion special rule, which is this. So this is all the catch-alls under Master of the Legion. Then you can pick a different right of war. So if you have a Praetor, you can use one of these optional force organization things. Few in the Proud, an army that may only include a maximum of 1 model with a special per 1,000 points of your army. And then Retinue, if you take this model, you can take a Legion Command Squad, which could be regular Command Squad, Tartarus, or Cataphractii Command Squad. So extra bodyguard guys. And they don't take up a force org slot, they just come with him. Lots of weapon options. I mean, I could go through them all, but I doubt you won't. I doubt you will have, if you played this already, I'll doubt you'll have converted a miniature you can't use. Basically, you can take any of the following in addition to what you have. So you can have like a bolter, a combi weapon, a Volkite charger, a shotgun, which I think is really cool, or a Nemesis bolter. And then a Praetor can exchange their bolt pistol and chainsword for one of the following. So either one of these can be exchanged or both. A Serpenta, hand flamer, plasma pistol, Architect pistol, disintegrator pistol, which is super cool, causes instant death. Chain axes, turnable weapons, power weapons, power fists, lightning claws, thunder hammers, paragon blades, boarding shield. And you get the heavy subtype if you get a boarding shield too, which is cool. can also have 2 Lightning Claws, or you can take Combat Shields, Melta Bombs, Warhawk Jump Packs, Spatha Combat Bikes, or Scimitar Jet Bikes. So lots of options there. A slightly lighter version of that for the Cataphractii Praetor and Tartarus Praetor. Basically, they come with those 2 different types of armor. The big difference between Tartarus armor is it's a 5+ invulnerable save, but he still has a Iron Halo, so it doesn't really change anything. He's got a higher movement, and he has the ability to like make sweeping advances and stuff because he's not heavy. So he doesn't reroll saves against template weapons, but he can follow up if he fights in combat. Yeah, I mean, they're cool. Cataphractii Army is basically cooler for non-characters that don't have vulnerable saves. You can buy grenade harnesses and stuff for both, all the special weapons for your Terminator armor. And then your Centurion. So he's basically a 2-wound Praetor with a slightly lower weapon skill. So weapon skill 6 or 5, sorry, instead of 6. 2 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 2+ save. He's got his Artificer armor and his Refractor Field, so 5+ invul instead of a 4+. Has pretty much the same melee weapon options as a character, and can still have things like a Warhawk Jump Pack, Combat Bike, or Jet Bike. And then, yeah, lots of upgrades, and we'll go through those later. But you can be a Librarian, an Esoterist, which is kind of like a weird spiritualist. Master of Signals, which is the cool guy with the comm stuff. I have one painted for my Alpha Legion. A Champion, so he's kind of like a Emperor's Champion. Forge Lord. Primus Metagame, which is like a big Librarian. A Siegebreaker, Chaplain, Vigilator, Pathfinder, Moritat. A Praevian, Delegatus, Herald, Armistice, and Mortificator. I love the Mortificator. The Moritat's my favorite, though, because he's the gunfighter. And then you can also take them in Cataphractii or Centurion armor. Legion command squads. So basically 2 guys and a standard bearer for any of these command squads. This one's in power armor. They can have jet bikes if you want. They can be given dedicated transports. I love the dedicated transport could be a Land Raider Proteus if you want, or a Rhino, or if it's 5 models or less, a Damocles Command Rhino. All kinds of neat stuff in there. They can be given special weapons and stuff. Cataphractii command squads, Tartarus command squads, and the Damocles Command Rhino. It's cool because of its geolocator beacon and its command vox relay special rules, which we'll come to later. I should probably actually just bookmark the special rules so I can talk about them later, as everybody has a... This book comes with its own section of universal special rules that are on top of the ones from the rulebook. So all the unit types, and then the special rules, and rights of war too. So like, for instance, the geolocator beacon is... Special rules, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Geolocator beacon is not here, because it's equipment, not special rules, maybe? It's probably equipment. That's probably why. Rocket barrage, armory. That's weapons. Yeah, here we go. Equipment. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As long as this model of special rules deployed on the battlefield, you can reroll all field reserve balls. And then the command vox relay. While any model of the character subtype is embarked on this, all friendly units with a Vox within 18 of this with the same version of Legion Straight Special Ruler within 18 of a model includes with an Nuncio Vox may use their leadership for morale checks and pinning checks. If more than one model with this character subtype is embarked on this, the controlling player chooses which model's leadership characters is used. So basically, if you have a character embarked on this thing, their leadership goes out 18 inches to everybody with a Vox, because he's talking to everybody and up in their leadership. So you could stick like a... Actually, do any of the guys in here have the character subtype? No, they don't. So you could stick a Centurion, maybe? Can they have command squads? No, it'd have to be a Praetor. I don't think they can have a command squad. No, just Praetors. So a Praetor can have a command squad. Master Legion. Retinue, yeah. So you could have if you have Master Legion, then you could have a Praetor command squad. So you have Leadership 10 just spreading out in an 18-inch bubble outside of that. And then Elites. So your Legion Veterans. So this is how you get, interestingly enough, a tactical squad the way you'd think of a tactical squad in 40k, where it's got like a special and a heavy weapon. That's the Veteran Squad in Horus Heresy. So it's just Tactical Marine Squad, but they have 2 wounds each, which is new and very cool, and 2 attacks each with 3 on the champion. So weapons go 5 as well for Legion Veterans. They're way tougher than they used to be. They used to be 1 wound veterans. They still have infantry, but they're not line, so they're not going to score the way character or the regular tactical squad score unless you take the Pride of the Legion and they gain the line subtype. So that Rite of War. They get Chosen Warriors, which is, again, flipping back to here. That was a Rites of War. I should actually just mark the special rule page because we'll go through Rites of War separately. All the consularies. Chosen Warriors. Where is it? A, B, C. Nope. Nope. Chosen Warriors? Oh, maybe it's the subtype. Oh, it's the subtype. That's why. So many different types of rules in this. Those are special rules. We're looking for subtypes. And subtypes are Bombard, Reinforced. Nope. Chosen Warriors is a special rule. Nope. Chosen Warriors, special rule. Deathstorm, Crushing Weight, Containment Breach. This is special rules. Oh, maybe it's in the core rulebook. Maybe that's why. Chosen Warriors. A, B, C. Crusader, Counterattack, Chosen Warriors. A model you can issue and accept challenges if you have the character subtype. So it's a core rule. That's why I kept all these rulebooks handy because I'm not sure where everything is at this point. And then, yeah, Relentless. And you can put them into a drop pod, Rhino, or Termite Assault Drill as a dedicated transport, which is cool. They can have all the different guns. They can be given bayonets, chain bayonets, just like a regular squad. Any model can have a combi weapon, a minor combi weapon, and a Astartes shotgun or a Nemesis bolter. They're kind of like a make-your-own-dudes Special Forces squad. The Cataphractii and the Tartarus get some more expanded options from outside of the box sets. The Cataphractii can have things like Reaper autocannons and plasma blasters, which the model, I think there's 4 roll bits for that. There might even be an accessory box eventually for them. A Vexilla, an Augury scanner, which is additional to things like Thunderhammers they can have. There's no Storm Shield though, just Thunderhammers. And then your Grand Harness, and the same options basically for the Tartarus squad. And they're still bulky, but they don't have the heavy subtype, and that means they can sweeping advance and stuff. Destroyer Assault Squads, these guys are cool. So these are guys with jump packs. They have 2 bolt pistols, a chainsword, rad grenades, frag grenades, crack grenades, power armor, and a Warhawk jump pack. Now Destroyers are basically like leftovers from the Unification Wars. They have 2 attacks instead of 1 like a regular tactical squad, but they do get like, and not 2 wounds is interesting because they're veterans, but they're not that veteran. But they have the Stubborn, Counterattack 1, and Bitter Duty. So Counterattack 1 is if they get charged, they get +1 attack. So if you charge them, they get the +1 attack as well. Bitter Duty means characters can't join them unless they also have that rule. So you basically, you can't have like a Praetor join them to fight. And then Stubborn, which I've already forgotten. I think it is the, you never suffer penalties to your morale. When you can easily spawn a model with a special rule, it takes morale check or pain test. They ignore all all negative unit chart things to your leadership. And you still have a Vexilla, Nuncio Vox and stuff, Augury scanners, Melta bombs. You can replace your bolt pistols with hand flamers or Volkite Serpentas. So super flexible again. You can even have a missile launcher with a suspensor weapon, rad missiles only, a Toxiferan flamer, and a plasma pistol. So some very weird old esoteric, like the Destroyer squads were basically issued weaponry from like the old Knight, which means that they had weird, like kind of strange weapons. So like the missile launcher, for instance. Where's the flamer? Archaeotech pistol, Melta weapons, Phosphex weapons, rad weapons, rad missile. So it's Fleshbane Radphage. So it's heavy 1, blast 3 inches. So it's a big blast, a 6-inch blast, and it has Radphage and Fleshbane. And Fleshbane is usually wound on 2+, or maybe you reroll wounds even. Fleshbane and Radphage, EF. Fleshbane. Always wounds on 2 with a shooting attack, that's right. And then Radphage is, I think it counts it makes your toughness 1 lower. Radphage. Yeah, if you get hit by it and survive the battle, your toughness is reduced by -1 for the rest of the battle. But it's by model. If you lose, so basically if you have a multi-wound model takes a wound, their toughness goes down by 1. Which is crazy. Which is weird, different weapons. And they can have power weapons and charnable weapons for every 1 in 5 models. Then you get your Mortalis Destroyer Squad, which is a non-jump pack version, basically, to go inside Zone Mortalis stuff. So it's kind of the same squad, just without jump packs. Your Apothecarian detachment's an elite choice. It's a unit of characters, and you have up to 7 of them. as characters. They can all join squads and stuff. They can have a variety of different weapons, power weapons, turnable weapons, artificer armor. And you can even have them on a jump pack, combat bike, or scimitar. But because they're an apothecary detachment, which is again a special rule, an apothecary detachment is selected as any other unit using a single 4-stroke slot and bought in the same manner. However, before the first turn begins and any models are deployed to the battlefield, all models must be assigned to a different unit from the same detachment. Legion apothecaries that have not selected Spatha combat bikes or scimitar jet bikes can only be assigned to units with the infantry X and same Legions Astartes X rule. No apothecary can be assigned to any unit that includes one or more models with the independent character special rule or unit subtype. Once assigned to a unit, the Legion apothecary is considered to be part of that unit, cannot leave it. So basically, they just are an extra model in a unit, which is nice because some of those transports don't just have like a flat 10 guys room so that you can put these characters in with them. Tech Marine Covenant basically works the same way. They have a Battlesmith 5+ to fix hull points, Relentless, Astartes. You can take like Cyber Familiars and Cognis Signums. Have a Thunderhammer instead of a Power Axe, which is kind of cool. Boarding Shields. You can even have them on jump pack, combat bike, or jump bike. So again, super versatile with all the character subtypes for putting them with you what you want. The Dreadnought Talon, the Contempt Dreadnought Talon, take up to 3 Dreadnoughts. They deploy within coherency at the start of the game, and then they break off into individual units. A few things that were missing from the box set that kind of panicked people. It looks like it was just because they weren't on the model. The carries assault cannons in here. You can have a Volkite dual Culverin, Chain Fist with a built-in combi bolter. So lots of extra stuff in here that wasn't in the core thing, just because they're extra bits you probably get through Forge Roll now. And then a Legion Rapier Battery, which is an elite choice, kind of a weird choice, but these are your Rapier carriers. So they're like basically heavy weapon carriers. They are a separate model that's toughness 5 with 2 wounds, so not vehicles. And they're artillery, so they're the artillery subtype, and they're heavy, which is interesting, which means they reroll against blast, which is kind of cool. They have their big heavy Mark III armor in the picture here. And they get Gravis heavy bolter batteries, but you can also have laser destroyers, graviton cannons, quad launchers with frag shells, and the quad launchers can upgrade to have incendiary splatter, shatter or splinter shells too. So packed full of elites in the Legion Tactical Squad, 100 points, lots of extra options here from in the core box. They can take a Rhino, they can have up to 10 additional Legionaries for 10 points. So you can go to a 20-man squad, which is convenient because I built my Chain Bayonet squad of Raven Guard is 20 models. You can take a Nuncio Vox, an Augury Scanner, or a Vexil, which is cool. And then any model may take a Bayonet or Chain Bayonet. The Bayonets actually cost a point instead of just 0. But they get +1 strength now too. And then you have chain swords on every single miniature. So if you want, everybody can just buy a chain sword for 5 points each. So if you do want to have your Space Wolf squad where it's all bolters, bolt pistols, and chain swords, go for it. You can make your just like horde of melee guys, and chain swords are legit. Like, it's funny because everyone's going to, I think, carry some of their like 40k thoughts in when they play this game, be like, it's just a chain sword. 20 guys with chain swords, they all have shred now. That's pretty great. And they're gonna have extra close combat weapons. So it's not like the chain bayonet where you've only got one. Now you have a chain sword and a bolt pistol, so you can fight with 2 extra weapons. And that means you got 2 attacks, 3 on the charge with shred. So the chain bayonet's cool because it's +1 strength and shred, but the chain sword's gonna give you the extra attack on top of that because you're buying it extra, which is why it costs way more. You can have your Tactical Sergeant can have a Magnet Combi Bolter or a minor one, extra close combat weapons. And then your Tactical Sergeant can have Artificer Armor, which is still funny, and Melta Bombs. And he's a character line subtype, so challenges that Artificer Armor might matter. Then you have a Despoiler Squad, which is like your close-up fighting. They're kind of like an Assault Squad, Chainsword, Bolt Pistol, Power Armor, Frag, and Crack Grenades. They do have Fury of the... Actually, I should mention Fury Legion and Hearted Legion. Fury Legion's amazing. If you don't move, you can shoot an extra time with your ranged weapons. And Hearted Legion is if you're within 6 of an objective marker, it has 6+ Wound Shrug and become fearless. So no falling back, and 6+, it will not die. Not will not die, feel no pain. And then these guys also have Hearted Legion for the holding objectives, the 6+ Wound Shrug and the Fearless next to objectives. But they have Spite of the Legion, which is a slightly different version of Fury Legion. It's basically the like melee version of it. Spite of the Legion in the charge phase. Sorry, if a charge is declared for a unit that includes at least one model with this special rule and they're not falling back, and includes no models with the character subtype or the Chosen Warrior special rule, then all models in the charging unit gain a bonus of +1 attack in the close combat assault in which the charge is declared. So basically, if they decide to charge, they get a bonus attack on top of their normal bonus attack for charging. They can have all the usual gear that Tactical Squad can have. Any model can exchange its chainsword for a heavy chainsword or a bolt pistol. Heavy chainswords are pretty legit too. They are +2 strength melee shred two-handed. So now you got strength 6 guys with the Spite of the Legion. So you're getting 3 attacks basically in the charge. And then charnable weapons are somewhere. Here we go. Charnable. Wait, is it just charnable weapon? Yeah, it just says charnable weapon. I guess you choose a model that is eligible to select one. May take any of the ones with this profile. There you go. So you can take a saber, which is melee, breaching 5+, and duelist edge 1. So breaching 5+ is on a 5+ to hit, you become or 5+ to wound. Is it to hit or to wound? Breaching. I think breaching is to hit, to wound. Yeah, when rolling to wound, if you roll that dice roll, you become AP2. So breaching means, but it's only against non-vehicles. And then duelist's edge is CD. Nope, that's in this book. We're doing a lot of book flipping. I mean, once you know what's in your army list, it won't be so bad, but when you're trying to read all the army lists at the same time. When fighting in a challenge, the value of this weapon is added to your initiative value, basically. So this guy's going to be initiative +1 in a duel. And then charnable tabar, which is +2 strength, breaching 6+, duelist edge, and then a glaive, which is +1, breaching 5+, duelist edge 2, so initiative +2, and then two-handed. So you give them all breaching 5+, you know, +1 in challenges. Not that challenges matter here. And your sergeant's eligible for all kinds of extra stuff too. And then a Legion Assault Squad, which weirdly does not get the, like, it's the Despoilers and the Tactical Squads that get Heart of the Legion line. These guys get line, but they don't get Heart of the Legion or Pride of the Legion, or Fear of the Legion, sorry. But they get jump packs. So you get jump packs on these guys. They're effectively like super melee dudes again. So heavy chain swords, power weapons, charnable weapons. They have bolt pistols and chain swords equipped base. And then you can give all the usual gear to the sergeant. But interestingly enough, no Vexilla or anything like that. You can all have combat shields though, which is pretty cool. Combat shields are equipment, ABC, combat shield. It's a 6+ invul, and if you have a boarding shield, it's a 5+ invul. Breacher squads, they all have the breacher shields. They become heavy in line, a 3+ save, but that means they reroll against templates as well. And they are Legion Astartes. They have bolters and bolt pistols on top of that, but the boarding shield gives a 5+ invul, but a model with a boarding shield cannot claim a bonus for having more than one melee weapon, or make attacks during the assault phase using a weapon with a two-handed trait. And then, what's the other one? Yeah, you can't stack that invulnerable save either. For every 5 models unit, you can take a Flamer, Melta gun, Graviton gun, or Las Cutter. And then your sergeant can have things like combi weapons, Thunder Hammers, Lightning Claws, Artificer Armor. And you can ride around a Termite Assault Drill, Leonardo or Proteus as a dedicated transport, but no Rhino. Has to be a big thing. Tactical Support Squad. Okay, so this is one of the ones that the frame is going up for pre-order today, and this is the like little guns upgrades. They still count as troops, but they have the support keyword. So you'll notice that these guys don't have support. That means all of these troop choices can be your your required troop choices, basically. Support ones, you can only have a support one for each of the regular ones that would actually eat up a troop choice slot. So they do take a troop slot, but basically they don't count as your required troop choices for building a 4-sword chart. And they're called support squads for a reason. So they become Special Rules Legion Astartes and then support squad. Here, I'll just pull up support squad so I can actually make that make sense. I think I described it very well. Basically, they can't count as your mandatory troops. Support squad, QRS. No, they're in this book. Support squad, Sunder. Support squad may not be chosen as compulsory choices for the army as part of their force organization chart. So you can still have a bunch of them, and you don't require. There's no one for one. I think I said that. That's not required. It's that they don't fill the mandatory requirements for your Force Org. And then they come in 5-man squads, standard Marines. You can buy them all. They come with flamers, and they can all be upgraded. You can't mix the weapons to have one of the following: a rotor cannon, Volkite charger, Volkite caliver, plasma gun, or Melta gun. And those things are going to allow you to basically have these little like supporty squads. They weren't super popular in first edition Horus Heresy, mostly because they were small squads. There was no like, oh, I'm not going to worry that I lost a guy because this guy's just the guy with the bolter models. But I think they're going to go up in value significantly, considering they can shoot back now if you shoot them. Just like the heavy weapon version, because there's a heavy support squad too. It's a lot more scary to shoot something when it can immediately fire back its full complement of heavy weapons at you or special weapons. So walking up next to that squad with 5 Melta guns in it, or having them in a Rhino or a drop pod or something, which is still cool. Which is expensive. I mean, 5 guys with Melta guns in that squad's 160 points. So it's no small amount for 5 wounds with the guys with Melta guns. But those guys can jump out and probably nuke something at the same time. And also, if you shoot back at them, well, you better be outside of 12 because that unit's going to destroy you with 5 Melta guns if you decide to shoot them. They can have a Rhino. That's it. They can't have a drop pod. Sorry, just a Rhino. But I mean, still good to get out and kill stuff. A Recon Squad, they've got just regular old power armor, but they have Legion Astartes, Scout, Infiltrate, and Support Squad. Infiltrate meaning that you can be anywhere on the table, not within, I think, a certain range if you're inside line of sight. It's, again, a standard rule. Oh, Infiltrate. Infiltrate. LMN. I know a 3rd edition Infiltrate works, but I make too many assumptions right now because this is based on an older rule set, and I should just assume I don't know anything and look it up, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. GHI Infiltrate. Anywhere on the table, it's more than 9 from enemy unit, as long as no deployed enemy unit can draw line of sight to them. That includes a building. If the building's more than 9 from the enemy. Alternatively, it can be set up anywhere in the battlefield, more than 12 inches from any unit, even in line of sight. So 12 if they can see you, 9 if they can't see you. If an Infiltrate deploys inside a dedicated transport, the same rules apply to their transport, and they can't charge in the first turn. Having Infiltrate also confers outflank for reserves, which is cool. They can take a Legion Rhino transport or Storm Eagle gunship as a dedicated transport. They come with bolters, but you could buy them the Sniper Bolters, the Nemesis Bolters, shotguns, or chainswords. And then you can have a Vexilia, Nuncio Vox, or Augury Scanner. Infiltrate Scout. Scout, I think, is a first turn move, or it used to be. Scout. It also might be Ignore Terrain. After both sides are deployed, including infiltrators, before the first player takes the first turn, the unit containing at least one model with this special rule can redeploy. If the unit's infantry, artillery, dreadnought, or automata, they can redeploy entirely within 6 of the current position, otherwise 12 of the current position. So you can move a little bit, and if an infiltrator has scout, they can deploy as per infiltrate and then redeploy as per scouts afterwards. So you can make like a sneaky move afterwards. And then Legion Scout Squad. So actual Space Marine Scouts. It'll be interesting to see if they make miniatures for these because they're wearing scout armor. So it's Marines in scout armor, which means there are currently plastic miniatures for that you could use. They don't look particularly Horus Heresy-y, but I mean, I don't know what you would change to make them more Horus Heresy. So they're Marines. They have Scout, Infiltrate, Move Through Cover, and Support Squads. They gain Move Through Cover, which is cool. They can have all the same options. So they can have chain bayonets, Nemesis Bolters, chainswords, and shotguns. I might convert up a little squad for my Alpha Legion just for funsies. All right, the Rhino. Moves 14, ballistic skill 4, armor is 11, 11, 10. Classic, 3 hull points, can carry 12 guys. Yes, not just 10. That means you can throw in those characters or apothecaries or whatever and not to have them not be able to ride around in the Rhino. Comes with a pintle-mounted twin-link bolter and smoke launchers. Has Legion Astartes X, repair, and infantry transport, which is pretty cool. So repair is the fact that it can maybe put itself back together again. Repair, QRS, rending, rage, preferred enemy, rending. Oh no, it's not in this rule. I figured it'd be in this rulebook. It's not. It's in here. Special rule repair. There we go. If any of the controlling player's shooting phases, instead of making a shooting attack, a model with this special rule, the controlling player can instead roll a d6. On a roll of 4 or more, a damage result is immobilized, maybe removed, but no hull points are returned. So you can basically throw the tracks back on it and make it move again, which is kind of cool. And you can buy all kinds of extra stuff. So Hunter Killer Missile, Searchlight, Dozer Blade, Twin Link Bolter, Combi Weapon, Havoc Launcher, Heavy Bolter, Heavy Flamer, Multi-Melta. So all kinds of extra Pintle stuff. Drop pods, they're just naked, 35 points. Bliss Skill 2 come with Pintle mounted Twin Link Bolters, and then they have front, side, rear, 12, 12, 12, 3 hull points, transport 10, and they can drop down in. They have an inertial guidance system, impact reactive doors, orbital assault vehicle, deep strike and infantry transport, which basically means that you put them aside and have them drop in. Inertial guidance system, when deployed as the first model part of a deep strike assault or other deployment that requires a model with a special rule to scatter, the distance is halved. And then, yeah, infantry transport 10. And then a Dreadnought one, same thing, but it carries Dreadnought. No guns, though. And then a Termite Assault Drill. I love that the Termite Assault Drill is in here. It's such a crazy, cool Ninja Turtles thing. Movement 8, Bliss Skill 4, 12, 12, 10, 3 hull points, transports 12. I'm desperate to get one just to say I have one. They're so neat. Has 2 pencil-mounted Twin Link Bolters and then a Melta Cutter, and can do subterranean assault, which means they can go underground. 2 access points on either side, and can exchange both its Twin Link Bolters for one of the following: a Twin Link Volkite Charger or 2 Pintle-mounted Heavy Flamers. Subterranean assault's fun because it comes out of the ground, basically. Again, no, this one's not in here. This one's in here instead. Subterranean assault. No, I lied again. So, QRS. No. Okay, is it a special rule? It's a special rule. See page 1. Oh, it has a special page, 101. It's in a special section, basically. Oh, because they put it in. Okay, they're putting it with the other things that can do that. Before the start of the first turn, when placing units in reserve, a player may assign all units with the subterranean assault special rule and any infantry to be performing that subterranean assault. All models must be embarked on the unit that has that special rule. When rolling for reserves, roll a single dice for all the units with this assault rather than rolling separately for each unit. If the roll is successful, then all of them arrive at once. Once a reserves roll has been made, the controlling player selects the units to be brought into play. Place a single model with the subterranean assault special rule to either dedicated transport anywhere in the battlefield, at least one from the enemy, or a piece of impassable terrain, and then scatter it. If the model is found positioned within one of the enemy, the controlling player's opponent can move that model to any position within 18. So basically, you can push them around if they scatter too close. And then you just deploy them around it, basically. Once all units have been deployed, any enemy unit within 6 of a unit deployed this way suffers D6 plus 3 Strength 6 AP4 hits that don't cause wounds, morale checks, or pinning. Once helmets are resolved, any units that are neither pinned nor falling back or within line of sight may choose to make an interceptor reaction targeting one of the units deployed. So basically, you run the risk when they arrive, everyone gets to shoot them. They all get to do interceptor, but without spending a reaction to do it. But they do count as having done a reaction now during the movement phase. So, pretty cool. They get to intercept stuff coming in. But it means that there is some risk now doing deep striking and subterranean assault. Because that same thing applies to, where is it? The orbital assault vehicle. I think it's the deep strike rules. All right, fast attack. Seeker squads. These guys are really popular. I have one in my, I have a special version called a Headhunter Kill Team that's in my Alpha Legion. They're kind of like, in the Space Marine Army, they're kind of like, what's the veteran squad type? The special ammo guys. Stern Guard. You get a 4-man squad, only 1 wound, so not quite veterans, 1 attack, but Bliss Skill 5+, and they are skirmish characters, skirmish infantry, and then they get marked for death, precision shots 4+, and infiltrate. So precision shot 4+ is basically, I think, just rending for guns. Or sorry, breaching for guns. Precision shot 4+. If model with a special rule attacking with a weapon with a special rule rolls equal to or higher than the value in the brackets, then it's a precision shot. Wounds precision shots are allocated against the model of the targeting player's choice. Oh, that's what it is. So if you make that precision shot roll, then you choose who dies. And the snapshots and shots can never make precision shots. So those, for every 4+, you assign the wound, which is cool. And they all have Kraken Bolters with Tempest and Scorpion rounds. And the Kraken Bolter's pretty cool. Let's have a look at it. Kraken Bolter rounds. So the Tempest round is, or the Scorpius round is strength 5, and then AP 4, but assault 1 and breaching 4+. So that means that you can fire that gun. It's assault 1, so you can move and shoot at 24. You can precision shot on the 4+, and then every 4+ to wound is AP 2. So you can just like obliterate a bunch of special weapon guys inside of units, or pick out characters and sergeants and stuff, which makes secret squads really cool. And then marked for death, I'm pretty sure they call out a enemy unit, and that enemy unit gets to HIJKLM. At the start of the battle, once both armies have set up, a single enemy may be chosen by a player that controls any models of this rule to be marked for death. You get to fail all failed wound rolls of 1 against them. So wound rolls of 1 get re-rolled, and when you have breaching 4+, that can be really powerful because you're trying to trigger more of those sweet 4+. And they can take all the usual gear as well. Your bolter can go for combi weapon, chainsword, heavy chainsword, or nemesis bolt weapon, or nemesis bolter. And then you get your chain bayonets, usual sergeant stuff. Outrider squadrons, they get their the combat bikes. They can upgrade those, I think, to be... Nope, not any other bikes. No, they're all in the combat bikes. The jet bike squad's separate. And they get firing protocols 2, hammer and wrath 1, hit and runs, means they can fire 2 of their guns. They can shoot the guns on the combat bikes. They get scout as well, and relentless, so they can move and shoot without making snapshots. And hit and run, which is a pretty big deal in this 40k. A unit that contains at least one model of the special rule and is locked in combat can choose to just leave at the end of any assault phase. Make an initiative check, and if it's failed, nothing happens. If it's passed, choose a direction and go 2d6 inches away. So you can go in, charge into combat, use your bolt pistol and chainsword to make a bunch of attacks, and then leave and go back into melee. Or sit and shoot later. All right, now we're to tanks. The Sabres, Sabre Strike Squadron and Sky Hunter Squadron. These are neat little almost like quasi-predators. A center mount Anvilus Snub Autocannon, heavy bolter and smoke launchers. This thing's movement 16. It's zippy quick, and there's lots of pictures of them in the core rulebook. Front 12, side 11, rear 10, 3 hull points, and it has 2 extras that can be taken per squad. It's only 80 points for a 3 hull point armor 12 thing. You can also take a Neuron Blaster or a Volkite Saker for additional points. So what does the Anvilus Snub Autocannon do? An Anvilus Snub Autocannon. No, these are the other weapons. Anvilus Snub, so range weapons, auto weapons. Anvilus Snub Autocannon. Strength 7, 24-inch range, strength 7, AP 4, heavy 2, sunder, rending, 5+, and twin link. So it rerolls shots to hit, 2 shots. It has sunder, which means it rerolls failed rolls to penetrate armor, I'm pretty sure. Sunder, sunder, sunder. A reroll failed armor penetration rolls against vehicles and buildings, and reroll glancing hits in an attempt to gain a penetrating hit, but you must take the second result. And then rending 5+, so on a 5+, it gets QRS rending. If it for each roll to wound equal or higher than that target, it always wounds and is AP 2. Similarly, if making a shooting attack with a rending weapon, 2 wound rolls equal to or less than the value, then it's resolved as AP 2. In either case, against vehicles, you get to roll an additional D3 for your arm penetration. So each of your armor rolls that you make, so if you make a vehicle penetration roll of a D6, if you roll a 5+ for the rending, then you get an additional D3 on top of it. And it's twin linked. So you're fishing for those 5+ with Sunder, and then you get an additional D3 on top of it. So it's only strength 7, but it's actually pretty crazy. The centerline mounted Neuron Blaster, where is it? Conversion weapon, disintegrator weapons, combi weapons, graviton weapons, las weapons. Here we go. So Neuron Disruptor. Neuron Blaster, Neutron Blaster, sorry. Strength 10, AP 1, Heavy 1, Concussive 3, Shock Pulse, Sunder gets hot. So a roll at 1 will do damage to you. Sunder, reroll failed rolls to break armor. Shock Pulse. Shock Pulse is not in the core rulebook. It's Shock Pulse, QRS. Nope, not there. Shock Pulse. Where would that be if it's not in here? Void Shields, QR, S. No, maybe it is in here. Shrouded Scout. I don't see Shock Pulse. Maybe it's just under Las Weapon somewhere? Or maybe it's in the Space Marine weapons. Maybe there's special keywords in here later on. Shock Pulse. LMN, OP, QRS. Nope. Huh, I can't find Shock Pulse. It's not under there. It's not in the special rules here. A, B, C, D, H, I, Q, R. I don't know what Shock Pulse does. Concussive, however, A, B, C, is Concussive 3, it says. Concussive. A unit suffers one or more wounds, regardless of whether those wounds are saved or otherwise discounted from a weapon with a special role. Must take a leadership test in the shooting phase or the current combat. If this has failed, that unit's weapon skill is reduced by the value in brackets. So you're minus 3 weapon skill if you get hit by that thing. And then a centerline mounted Volkite Saker. Volkite weapons. Volkite Saker is 6 AP5, 25-inch range is a weird range. Heavy 6 Deflagrate. That's when you fail roll to wound, you get to make another roll to wound. So the more guys melt, the more guys melt. The Sky Hunter Squadron is kind of the same. It's 2 Legion Sky Hunters in these like little baby things. 2 wounds. Move 16. Little like jet bikes. A grav impeller assisted jet engine propelled craft. Like a combat aircraft, then ground bike. So it's not quite a jet bike. And you have a Legion Scimitar jet bike. And you have 2 of them with bolt pistols and chainswords. They're super fast, movement 16. And you get an extra wound from having it too, but no extra toughness for having a jet bike, which is interesting. You can give you can replace your heavy bolter with a Volkite Culverin, a multi-melter, or a plasma cannon, making them very shooty. And they get firing protocols 2, Hammer Wrath 1, hit and run and deep strike, so they can shoot all their guns. Javelin Squadrons, these are Javelin jet bikes, which are pretty neat. You can take up to 2 additional ones for 90 points. I like that the jet bikes are like the Dreadnoughts. They took away and made them cavalry. So instead of being a vehicle, they gain the cavalry rule like the Legion Skyhunter Squadron does, and become toughness 6 with 4 wounds. So a little more durable, a little less like just get shot down immediately, super light vehicle, which I like. I like the fact that they're not going to have any kind of like special hits fired to them, and they get to kind of do their thing the whole game. They get firing protocols 4, Harbingers of the Legion, hit and run, relentless outflank, deep strike. And they can fight in melee with their bolt pistols and chainswords. Basically anything where the crew is like exposed now, you get to fight with the crew, which I think is cool. You can have 2 las cannons or 2 Volkite Culverins instead of your your guns. Replace your cyclone missile launchers with that. Although it doesn't. Oh, Legion Javelin Land Speeder is an equipment piece. That's interesting. Okay, so they made it equipment, and then it'll say what it has as equipment. That's neat. A Legion Scimitar jet bike has 1 heavy bolter. In addition, a model with a Scimitar jet bike chooses to run gain strat at 5+. A model with the infantry subtype that uses this gains anti-grav. Oh, because you can give it to characters. So it makes sense they made an equipment piece. But then Legion Javelin Land Speeder has 1 heavy bolter and 1 cyclone missile launcher with frag and crack missiles. And then a Proteus Land Speeder, which is the old school like Rogue Trader style one, which I really want because it's so cute. Toughness 5 with 3 wounds. Basically has like the same kind of stuff. Where is it? Legion Proteus. EFG. Legion Proteus Land Speeder. Just as a heavy bolter. It's so cool. And you can replace the heavy bolter with like a heavy flamer, havoc launcher, multi-melta, Volkite Culverin, graviton gun. And take up to 2 hunter killer missiles. So neat. Storm Eagle gunship. Holy moly. Move 18, both skill 4, front 12, side 12, rear 12. It's a vehicle, flyer, hover, transport. Transports 22 guys with 4 hull points. That's 12 all around. Its war gear is a front-mounted twin-linked heavy bolter, a front-mounted vengeance launcher, 4 hull front-mounted Tempest rockets. It's got power of the machine spirit, so it can shoot when it's glanced. Assault vehicle and deep strike, which means you can charge out of it. And 1 access point on each side, and one at the front and rear ramps. You can give it multi-meltas or missile launchers. And you can also buy lots of missiles for its wings. Then a Xiphon Interceptor is only 105 points for that flyer. I like the flyers don't seem dominating. Movement 20 with skill 4, 11, 11, 11. They haven't like super differentiated flyers the way they did in old 40k, which I kind of like, because flyers were just a weird interrupted the game turn. And they have Talons of the Legion. You can take a ramjet diffraction grid on them, and they have 2 hull-mounted las cannons and a hull front-mounted rotary missile launcher, which is neat. What does the ramjet diffraction grid do? A ramjet diffraction grid. A model with a ramjet diffraction grid reduces the strength of shooting attacks made against its rear or side armor by -1 or -2 if the attack has the blast special rule or uses a template to determine range. Has no effect on destroyer weapons. Well, of course it doesn't. And then the Dreadclaw, 115 points. Moves 15, skill 4, 12, 12, 12, 3 all points, transports 12. Can carry a Dreadnought instead of regular guys. And the entire hull is considered the access point because you drop out of it. Because it's basically standing on its feet, and then the little iris door opens, and then you drop out the bottom and stuff. All right, so we're into heavy support. So there's some fun stuff in here. I'm really hoping some of this stuff gets made in plastic, because these are some of the coolest models in the range. Of course, we have the Spartan and the Kratos already in plastic, already announced, not for pre-order. But I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see this guy, because he's very popular in 40k too, and that's the Leviathan Dreadnought. 270 points per model. Weapon skill, blitz skill 5, movement 6, strength, toughness 8, 7 wounds, initiative 4, 5 attacks, 2+ save. Has an automatic deflector, gets his 5+ invul and 6+ in melee, 2 heavy flamers, and 2 Leviathan siege claws with built-in Melta guns. Leviathan siege claws are, let's say, no joke. If you get hit by a Leviathan, even if you're a Primarch, you are in serious trouble. Where is it? Let's go weapons. Servo weapons. Leviathan Siege Claw. Strength 10, AP 2, melee, brutal 3. So each one of those attacks does 3 wounds worth of damage to somebody. Even with 5 attacks, there's a good chance that when you get into melee with somebody, you do lose an attack if you take a gun weapon and lose the 2 melee weapons. That's basically 15 potential wounds, a 10 AP 2. So yeah, you can paste a Primarch with this guy pretty good. Hammer Wrath 3, which means he charges, he does impact hits. He does Dreadnought Talon, so you can take 3 of these guys if you want, and then break them up into, they start as a squad and then break up. And they get moved through cover. And they're not really agile, they're just crushing everything in their path, which is pretty cool. They can swap out their hands, basically, for siege drills and built-in Melta guns. The siege drill is slightly worse. It's 12 AP2, so good against vehicles. And that has armor bane melee, so you can fight vehicles better with it. You could take 1 of each and keep all your attacks, and then just choose which one you're hitting with, which is kind of neat. That's 5 points. And then a Leviathan Storm Cannon. That thing is, again, no joke, these big heavy weapons. It's 7 AP4, 24-inch range, heavy 6, rending 5+ sunder. So it's good against everything. It's good at rending against infantry, it's good at sundering. Yeah, it's a legit gun with 6 shots. A Cyclonic Melta Lance for 20 points. The names are so over the top, I love it. Cyclonic Melta Lance. 18-inch range, strength 8, AP1, heavy 4, and then armor bane Melta. So if you're in half range, you gain the armor bane special rule. And then a Grav Flux Bombard. That's the one where you have to make a strength test or take a wound, basically, with regular armor saves, but it is AP. So the Grav weapon, heavy 1, large blast 5 inches, Graviton Collapse, Torsion Crusher, Ignore Cover, Concussive 1, so they lose weapon skill. You don't get cover against, no cover saves. Torsion Crusher and Graviton Collapse. Graviton Collapse is wound against strength. Torsion Crusher, I think, affects vehicles. I'll have to double check that one. Torsion Crusher. HIJKLMNO. Torsion Crusher. When a target with the armor value is struck by a weapon with this special rule, the amount of hull points damage caused is doubled. Holy crap. And yeah, and then you can buy it a Phosphex Discharger, which means you can drop Phosphex bombs out of it, and you can replace your heavy flamers for twin link Volkite calibers. The Phosphex, it's basically a white phosphorus dropper, which is horrifying in and of itself. LMNOP, Phosphex dropper, LMNOP. Oh my god, is it in this thing? No, this, oh, maybe it's just a gun. I might have just been wrong with the, it's not equipment, it's a gun. Phosphex Discharger. Oh, there it is, Phosphex weapons. 18-inch range, strength 5, AP2, heavy 1, barrage, blast 3 inches, poison 3+, crawling fire, and lingering death. It basically keeps moving around the table because it's just a huge ball of white phosphorus. And then a Doradio Dreadnought Talon for 205 points. He's the heavy support guy with all the guns. So he has an Anvilus Autocannon Battery, twin-linked heavy bolter, 4 Boreas defense missiles, an automatic deflector, and a helical targeting array. And again, his guns are no joke. So the Anvilus Autocannon Battery, which is the same as the other one, heavy 4 rating, 5+ Thunder twin-linked. He's got twin-linked heavy bolters, the Boreas air defense missiles, which are 48-inch range, strength 8 AP2, heavy 1 Skyfire, so they ignore the penalties for shooting, planes, guided fire in 1 shot, so they can go off once. And then your helical targeting array, which does what? E, F, G, H. Helical targeting array. The controlling player with a model with a helical targeting array may activate it at the start of any of their own turns, or if the controlling player is not taking the first turn of the battle, at the start of the battle, before the beginning of the opposing player's first turn, once the targeting array is activated, the model is affected by the following conditions until the beginning of the next turn. They cannot move, run, or declare, or make reactions other than Interceptor or Overwatch. The controlling player may choose to use the Skyfire special rule in making any shooting attacks. No model may make a damage mitigation roll provided by Shrouded. When the model making a shooting attack is part of the interceptor reaction, the reaction does not cost any points from the reaction allotment, so he gets to react for free. This does not allow the unit to make more than 1 reaction per phase, but doesn't allow the controlling player to exceed the normal 3 reactions limit. And when given a model with the vehicle unit subtype and a helical targeting array makes a shooting attack as part of the interceptor reaction, that model may fire all of its weapons, not just defensive weapons, as part of the shooting attack. So basically, you can put him on Overwatch. And it means that if you shoot at this guy, he's just shooting back all the time. Legion Heavy Support Squad, it's the same as the Support Squad. So basically, it's a heavy support slot instead, but they start with heavy bolters, and they can be given heavy flamers, autocannons, missile launchers with frag, crack, and flak, multi-meltas, plasma cannons, Volkite culverins, and las cannons. And then your Predators, they come with Predator autocannons and sponsor mountain heavy bolters. 13, 12, 10, 3 hull points, split skill 4, 14-inch move. Take up to 3 additional Legion Predators in the squadron. They're only 120 points, so pretty cheap actually. And this is again one of those models you're probably going to see in plastic. You can have sponsor-mounted heavy flamers, las cannons, or Volkite culverins. And then you can change your Predator cannon for a Flamestorm cannon, an Executioner plasma destroyer, a heavy conversion beamer, a Magna Melta cannon, Graviton cannon, Volkite macro Cycarin neutron blaster, or Gravis las cannon. And then take additional pintle-mounted weapons too. A Cycarin Squadron. This is I got one of these for my Alpha Legion along with the Scorpius missile launcher as well. You can take 1 additional Cycarin, so only squadrons of 2. Move 16, plus skill 4, 13, 12, 12, 4 hull points. Again, this would be another one that'd be nice to see in plastic, because again, they'll have all these rules in 40k. You can take a turret-mounted accelerator autocannon, which is a legit gun. Where is it? Turret-mounted accelerator autocannon. Accelerator autocannon. Heavy 8, rending 6+, Exoshock 6+. Now what does Exoshock do? A, B, C, D, E. Exoshock. A, B, C, D, E. Not in here. Exoshock is in this, I guess. So there it is. If this weapon successfully scores a penetrating hit on the target, roll a d6. If the result is equal to or higher than the bracket's value, a second automatic penetrating hit is taken on the same target, against which cover saves may not be taken. If for any reason the given bracket value of this rule does not have a number, then it's a 6+. So basically, if you penetrate again on a 6 with no cover saves. And then we're into the other Cycarin variants, the Arcus, which has an Arcus missile launcher with Arcus warheads. What's the Arcus missile launcher do? I'm sure something amazing. Arcus missile launcher, missile weapons, Arcus missile launcher. So it's got Arcus warheads only. They're 36-inch range, strength 8, AP 2, heavy 5, twin linked. Whoa, that's a spicy meatball. You can buy sponsor-mounted heavy flamers, las cannons, or volkite culverins to replace your heavy bolters. And you can buy the additional upgrades for the other weapons too, so like Sky Spear warheads, Pyrax warheads, and Neutron Flux warheads. You can also buy it a helical targeting array, which is interesting. So you could have it do the no move, shoot with all of its missiles. And then a Cycarin Punisher with a Punisher rotary cannon. If that sounds familiar, it's because it is. You're looking at that big old heavy 18 pinning Shell Shock 1, strength 6 AP 4. Heavy 18, that's a lot of guns. Pinning means that, where is it? And Shell Shock 1. Pinning is, if a non-vehicle unit suffers one or more unsaved wounds from the pinning special rule, take a leadership check, and then you become pinned. And then, where's the other one? Pinning, and then not Exoshock. It is Rending, nope, Shell Shock 1. QRS. I think Shell Shock is if you make a pin test, reduce the leadership by that value. So it always causes a pinning test if you take a wound from it, and you're -1 leadership because of the Shell Shock. So very good at keeping people's heads down with that thing. You can buy the usual side stuff. No helical targeting ring for that one though. And then a Venator, no big deal, just a centerline mounted neutron beam laser. You know, that big old thing that is neutron beam laser, strength 10 AP 1, ordnance 2, concussive 3. Shock Pulse gets hot. I still don't know what Shock Pulse does. I can't find it in here. Shock Pulse. Sunder, Shrouded. Shred. Oh, Shock Pulse, here it is. It just is weirdly... Oh, it's because they put... So what was confusing me is Scout is non-alphabetical. So I looked at Scout and thought I was out of SHs, but they put Scout in the wrong spot. Scout should be here, but I guess just because of the size of it, they had it not be alphabetical for a second, and that's what screwed me up. But there's Shock Pulse. Any vehicle, including super any vehicles, Dreadnoughts or Automata, that suffers a penetrating hit or unsaved wound from a weapon with this may only fire snapshots. So basically, you get knocked down to snapshots. Everything was alphabetical until that. I guess it was just they didn't want to have the text go over the page for some reason in the layout, and it broke my brain. Okay, so we know what that does then. But then the other thing that it had was, where was it? Neutron Beam Laser, Ordnance 2. LMNO. In alphabetical order, except in certain cases where it's not in alphabetical order. LMNO, Ordnance. Just means Ordnance class gets 2 shots instead of 1, and rolls 2 dice, picks the highest for penetrating vehicles, which is nice. And then we're looking at the Legion Omega Squadron, Cycarin Omega. It has a Omega Plasma Array, which I'm sure is terrifying. So sustained fire, strength 7, AP 4, 8 shots, heavy, breaching 4+, twin linked. And then maximal strength 5, AP 4, heavy 2, running 4+, gets hot, plasma burn, twin linked. Plasma burn. LMNO. Plasma burn. If the target weapon with this special rule is a model with a vehicle unit subtype, that model loses 1 or more hull points as a result of an attack, roll 4+. The target loses additional D3 hull points with no cover saves, invulnerable saves, or damage mitigation. So if you take a wound from the Omega Plasma Array, on a 4+, you take D3 more, hull point, you take D3 more hull points, because the plasma is just a giant ball of white hot sun burning inside you. That's pretty cool. It's only heavy 2, but 9 AP 4, running 4+, is going to do a damage to just about everything. 4 hull points on all the Cycarins makes them pretty tough too. Then we're looking at that Kratos, 14, 14, 14, 5 hull points, pretty much as tough as the, it's like a baby Baneblade. It's pretty much as tough as the whatchamacallit, the Land Raider Spartan. It's vehicle reinforced, and the reinforced keyword is actually pretty important. Carrying attachment, it's a subtype. Infantry transport, heavy beam, inertial guidance system. Where are these vehicle subtypes? There we go. Unique bombard, reinforced. A model with reinforced ignores the effects of crew shaken. A model with reinforced does not have to make snapshots due to crew stunned, but can still, does not have to make snapshots due to the effects of crew stunned, but still cannot move or pin it until the end of the next turn. So the thing's so heavy, basically, that shaken and stunned gets almost completely ignored, which is super cool. And then, yeah, so it's 300 points, has turret-mounted Kratos battle cannon, which is horrifying. The turret-mounted Kratos battle cannon it comes loaded, I think, standard with AP and high explosive. So the high explosive is 8 AP4, 36-inch range, heavy 1, large blast 5 inches and pinning. And then the AP shells are 8 AP2, heavy 2, and then sunder, so they reroll against armor. So it's pretty versatile just out of the box. Coaxial mounted autocannon, and then a hull front left mounted heavy bolter, and a hull front right mounted heavy bolter. 2 sponson mounted heavy bolters, and a smoke launcher. And then, of course, you can take up to 1 additional Legion Kratos in the same squadron for 285 points. You get a 15-point discount. You can take flashburn shells, which give you a 24-inch range, strength 10 AP1, heavy 1, armor bane ranged, and gets hot. You're basically firing like a white phosphorus round. And then, or a Melta round. And then any Legion Kratos may exchange its battle cannon for either a turret-mounted Volkite Cardinal or a turret-mounted Melta blast gun. The Cardinal, Volkite Cardinal, is heavy 12 deflagrate pinning with strength 7 AP5. The Melta cannon, where is it? It's the super Melta cannon. It's a, no, I've lost it. Melta blast gun. The Melta blast gun is 36-inch range, strength 8, AP1, heavy 4, and armor bane Melta in half range. So at 18, it's just melting stuff. So it's a pretty brutal tank. It's covered in guns. You can upgrade all of its hull front right and hull front right left guns as well into like autocannons, las cannons. Your sponson heavy bolter can be turned to a heavy flamer, voltaic culverin, or las cannon. And then your usual pinta weapons, and you can buy it a flare shield. And the flare shield is legit. The flare shield taking down the strength of incoming attacks. When something's 14 all around, being -2 or -1 from front armor, and then -2 for the blast busher roll is crazy. So yeah, if someone's shooting you from the front, you're going head on into stuff. Being armor 14, then -1 strength is legit. But with 5 hull points, you're pretty hard to kill. The Kratos will definitely, if you're not looking for a transport and you're looking for a brawly battle tank, that thing is not going to have many equals. Until you get to the Land Raiders. So the Land Raider Proteus. Oh, Land Raider Proteus. You classic. You're like the Coke classic of Land Raiders. Moves 12, ballistic skill 14, carries 12 guys, 14, 14, 14, and 5 hull points. So very tough. Turret-mounted Gravis las cannons, which means 2 shots re-rolling. And then twin heavy bolter smoke launchers. This is the classic Land Raider, the all the way around wheels. Power the machine spirit and assault vehicle. Has 1 access point on each side of the hull and 1 at the front. And then a Legion Land Raider Proteus Squadron can take up to 2 additional ones. So you take 2 more for 205 points each. And then upgrade all your guns. The hull 1 can become either a heavy flamer or a twin leg las cannon. And then give it a pintle mounted weapon too. I'm really hoping this comes out in plastic. This is the one where when I found the Spartan, and it was like the Spartan rules basically, or the Spartan parts, the las cannon frame just said Spartan. And when I built the quad las cannons for this, or sorry, it just said Land Raider. And when I built the quad las cannons for the Spartan, there was pieces left over to make a double las cannon, and that's basically meaning that's probably going to get used for the Proteus. But you can also make a Proteus Explorer, which is a variant, and the fact there's a variant makes it feel like even more likely that there's going to be a plastic kit. It transports 8, but because it has an augury web, basically, it's like a recon version of a Land Raider. And this was it wasn't designed as a war vehicle. It was designed to like accompany the humans as they explored space. It was like a, the Robinsons basically Lost in Space kind of like exploration vehicle, and they just stuck guns on it. I love the story for this thing, and I can't wait to build one. I really want to build one for my Raven Guard, I think. The Vindicator Squadron has got a centerline mounted demolisher cannon. Yeah, it does what it says in the tin. You can also give it a laser destroyer if you want, which is kind of cool, and 2 additional Vindicators. Leonardo Spartan, we've already seen this in the core box review, so I'm not going to go through it again, but it's a tough tank with 6 hull points and 26 carrying capacity. Yeah, definitely legit. And then a Scorpius, which is a Whirlwind Scorpius. I got one of these for my Alpha Legion, you'll see it soon. 13, 12, 10, 4 hull points. Turret-mounted Scorpius missile launcher. The thing's pretty terrifying. Scorpius missile launcher, strength 8, AP 4, heavy 1, barrage, large blast, and rocket brush. I can fire to line of fire. Firing a 5-inch blast that's strength 8, AP 4. And barrage means it causes pinning, I think. It used to mean it caused pinning. It might not mean it causes pinning anymore. Our barrage weapons used to automatically cause pinning tests. But again, they might not. It might just mean that they fired a line of fire. Barrage, which I think is what that means now. What's the other one? Barrage and rocket barrage. That's right, it's 2 different things. Barrage weapons. Are you in the core rulebook? Ordnance weapons, heavy weapons. You should be. Destroyer, rapid fire, bombing runs. No. Rapid fire, pistol, bombs, destroyer. Heavy weapons, ordnance weapons. Intervening models. No, you must be in here then. Oh, you might be in the core rulebook too. Hang on. Barrage. Oh no, they are in here. Well, no, blast is in here. Barrage. Barrage weapons can fire indirectly. There you go. This means they can fire targets that are inside line of sight as long as they're inside maximum range. When firing indirectly, the ballistic skill of the fire is not subtracted from the scatter distance. Roll to hit and then scatter is normal. If it has line of sight, it can fire directly even if the target's in minimum range. And any hits inflicted upon vehicles by attacks using barrage special rule result against their side armor value. Oh. And then rocket barrage. Is that a separate thing? Radphage. Rocket barrage is probably in here. Rocket barrage, there it is. If model with this weapon with a special rule does not move in the movement phase, that weapon gets rending 4+ and pinning. There, that's what it is. That's where they're getting the pinning from. So if you don't move, you get rocket barrage, you get rending 4+ and pinning. Because it used to have the ability to cause pinning in the old edition, and yeah, it's still there. And then a Legion Arquitor Squadron, 200 points. It has a Bombard special rule. It's a subtype. And the Bombard subtype is in here, Bombard. When a model with this vehicle unit type moves at combat speed, it may fire any number of ordnance weapons. It may also fire any non-ordnance weapons normally, ignoring the restrictions of combat speed. However, when moving at cruising speed, it can only fire a single defensive weapon. So it can move and fire its Bombard cannon. Movement 8, front, side, 12, 12, and then rear 10, 5 hull points. It's pretty heavy for 200 points. And has a center-mounted Morbus Bombard, and then 2 sponsor-mounted heavy bolters and a smoke launcher. It has moved through cover because it just crushes the siege tank, right? It's the kind of thing the Iron Warriors and the Imperial Fist would take. Morbus Bombard. I was like saying that. Morbus Bombards do... not that, artillery cannons. Morbus Bombards. Strength 10, AP 4, Ordnance 1, Barrage, Large Blast 5+, Pinning, Rending 6+. So just a big old pie plate of dead. Fire Raptor gunships, no big deal. Just a 4 hull point, 12, 12, 12 flyer. It's covered in guns, has an Avenger bolt cannon, which again, as has tradition, is still amazing. Where's the Avenger bolt cannon? It should be in here. Gravis, Accelerator autocannon, Rapier Battery, no. Oh, it's under bolt weapons. Avenger bolt cannon. Yep, heavy 7, strength 6, AP 3, 36-inch range. And then 2 sponson mounted Gravis heavy bolter batteries, some Tempest rockets, and Hellstrike missiles. Probably Machine Spirit, Deep Strike, no transports, and Strafing Run 1. Strafing Run 1? What does that mean? Strafing Run 1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Q, R, S. Strafing Run is not in this book. Tremendous. So strafing 1 run is in here, QRS. Go between multiple books. When making a shooting attack with any unit with the flyer subtype, this vehicle increases ballistical by the value indicated. For example, when you're shooting at a ground target, you'd be ballistical plus 2 if you add strafing run 2. So he's +1 to hit. Hits on 2s against ground targets. Shoot non-vehicle units. And then Legion Deathstorm drop squads. These are drop pods with the missile launchers inside that you can drop down. For 90 points, you basically drop a Deathstorm missile launcher in the middle of somebody's army. What does that do? I mean, it sounds cool. I like the idea of death storms. Hey, what are you going to hit me with? Oh, it's just a death storm. No big deal. Deathstorm missile launcher, strength 6, AP 4, heavy 9, pinning, Deathstorm, limited ammunition. So for 90 points, limited ammunition doesn't sound super encouraging. What does limited ammunition get me for 90 points? HI. Limited ammunition. After all shooting attacks for a weapon with a special rule been fully resolved, roll a d6, adding 1 if it's fired before. If it's 6 or more, you can't use for the rest of the battle. So basically, if you keep firing it, there's a chance it runs out of bullets. Still pretty cool. It has area denial drop, which means it doesn't scatter when it arrives, which is really cool. And then you place the rest of the ones in the unit within 12 of it, as long as you can roll a 2+. So yeah, you can really, area denial drop is an interesting special rule. It basically means you place the unit anywhere you want, not within 6 of the enemy, and then roll a d6, and it arrives automatically, and then the rest of the unit just arrives within 6 of it. So you can just put a wall of missile launchers down. And then a Charybdis Assault Claw as a heavy, as not a transport basically, but it still transports 22 and can transport dreadnoughts, and has its heat blast when it arrives, and has a Deathstorm missile launcher. Cool. All right, Lords of War. There are some bigly boys in this army list, like the Cerebus Squadron. Now, my only beef is I have a Stormblade I really wanted to paint, a Legion Stormblade, an old resin one. There's no Stormblade in here. There's just the Fellblade. But you can make a Cerberus. The Cerberus is a 14, 14, 13, 6 hull points. It's a Lord of War, but it's not even that much bigger than the whatchamacallit. It's the Kratos, which I'm surprised isn't a Lord of War, to be honest with you. It has a centerline mounted neutron laser battery, 2 sponsor mounted heavy bolters, a flare shield, and smoke launcher. So it's got the flare shield like built in. It has reactor blast though as a special rule, which sounds like something that you would do in some kind of like Gundam video where you do I'm gonna fire my reactor blast. When the controlling player resolves an explode result on the vehicle damage table for a model with this special rule, the strength of any hits is increased to 10. It blows up real big. You can buy a squadron of them. It's an extra 410 points. And you can exchange your heavy bolters for las cannons, heavy flammers for Volkite culverins. So it basically just does what it says in the tin. It has a neutron laser battery, same thing. The Typhon Squadron, 14, 14, 13. It's the same class of vehicle, basically. It's another Spartan chassis. And it's got crushing weight. What does crushing weight do? I've read this entire book twice, and I still can't remember all these special rules. When it resolves a ram attack, targeting an enemy model that has the vehicle unit subtype, these hits are inflicted at strength 12. When resolving a ram attack against a vehicle that is not made up entirely of models with the vehicle subtype, 6 plus d6 strength 10 hits are inflicted instead. 6 plus d6 strength 10 hits, oh my god. It just drives over you. It has a Dreadhammer Siege Cannon. Just saying the names of some of these things is amazing. Dreadhammer Siege Cannon. Strength 12, AP 3, Ordnance 1, Large Blast 5+, Rending 4+, Sunder, and Brutal 4. It does 4 wounds per hit. Holy moly. That thing is horrifying. Yeah, it will take big chunks out of things for 425 points. No transport, of course. And these are all variants of the Spartan chassis. So there's a good chance maybe they'll just make an accessory frame for the plastic Spartan instead of doing like Forge World frames, because you could make one upgrade box, basically, kind of like the support weapon boxes for the Space Marines that did the special weapons for both of these. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because they're trying to push everything into plastic. So these two models, if you've got a Spartan, or if you bought multiple copies of the starter set and you didn't know if you wanted to build multiple Spartans, maybe wait a minute and see if these come out. I think there are already Forge World kits for them, but you never know. The Legion Glaive, we're into the Baneblade variants and the Fellblade. So 700 points for a Glaive, 14, 13, 12, 12 hull points. Has a Volkite Carronade, we already saw the rules for that. Sponson mounted las cannons, mounted twin-linked heavy bolter and smoke launchers. You can change its las cannons for 2 sponson mounted laser destroyers, which is the big quad ones, or heavy flamers, and then just pintle mounted weapons. You can't change the main gun though. So just a big old super heavy Legion Glaive. And the Fellblade has a Fellblade Accelerator Cannon. What does that do? Has a high explosive or an area spell. It has a 100-inch range. So the high explosive is Strength 8 AP3, Ordnance 1, Massive Blast 7. And then the AE shell is 100-inch range, Strength 10 AP2, Ordnance 1, Armor Bane. Ranged, Exo Shock 4+, where you take additional wounds, and then Blast 3 inches. So a 3-inch blast murder gun. You can give it laser destroyers, heavy flamers, yeah, no main gun swaps. And then a Falchion, which is 650 points. This is another one of the Baneblade variants. Gives it a centerline mounted twin-linked volcano cannon. So remember, the regular guard Shadow Sword is a single volcano cannon. This thing mounts 2 volcano cannons. Twin-linked volcano cannon. Is that an artillery? Is it considered artillery? Nope. Maybe it's considered a laser weapon? Yup. 120-inch range, strength 14, AP1, destroyer 1, large blast 5 inches, ignores cover. And it's twin-linked. When you absolutely need that thing to be dead, bring the Legion Falchion. You can swap its centerline mounted volcano cannon though for a neutron wave cannon. What does that do? 120-inch range, strength 10, AP1, destroyer 1, large blast 5+, shock pulse, ignores cover. So no big deal, just melts your brain on top of whatever. So if you really need to kill infantry. And then a Thunderhawk gunship. Oh, I think our best chance ever at plastic, that Thunderhawk gunship might be this game. 685 points, transports 32, has an assault vehicle, and transport base. You can put a small vehicle with 3 or less hull points in it. You can have a Rhino light around in it, which is kind of neat. You can take a ramjet diffraction gun and flare shield. And has a centerline Thunderhawk cannon. What does that thing do? Centerline Thunderhawk cannon, 72-inch range, strength 8 AP4, destroyer 1, massive blast 7 inches, rending 6 punch. That's a huge explosion. And transports of 32 guys. And then if you need to go bigger, the Sokar Stormbird, no big deal. 52 transport capacity, vehicle bay, void shields 2, transport bay, power of the machine spirit, assault vehicle, las cannons, heavy bolters, and hellstrike missiles. So not any huge guns on it, but it carries so many guys. And then the Legion Mastodon. I love this miniature. I love that it's called a Mastodon. Carries 42 guys, 14 all around, 12 hull points. Has a centerline mounted Siege Melta array. Siege Melta array? What does that do? 12-inch range, strength 8, AP1, heavy 5, armor bane Melta twin linked. We just gotta get through a wall. Missile launchers, las cannons, heavy flamers. 2 void shields, assault vehicle, transport bay, legions of Astartes. Buy its searchlights, cutter killer missiles, and take a command vox relay as well, because of course you can. And then we're into the Legion of Astartes unit type. So that we've already been through the unique. You can only have one of your armies: skirmish, bombard, reinforced. I think we didn't talk about skirmish. You have 3-inch coherency instead of 2 for moving around, and a unit with only has models with the skirmish subtype, increases all cover saves by 1, but you can't make it better than 2+. So skirmish is handy for those scout squads. All right, rights of war. So rights of war are important. This is the way you can edit your army list to take specific units as troop choices for the most part. So each right of war presents a different strategy for playing stuff. Some detachments will also have one that's faction specific. So like a Blood Angels one, or a Luna Wolves one, or a Sons of Horus one. Wait, those are the same thing. Raven Guard one, War Leaders one, whatever. When you select a right of war, the rights of war available to a given detachment decides its variant Legion of Astartes special rules. For an example, the Awakening of Fire right of war is restricted to taking salamanders and can only be taken by salamanders detachments. So now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 unaligned ones, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 unaligned ones. And they each kind of give you a benefit and a restriction. So the light recon company, reconnaissance squads, scout squads do not have the support special rule, which means they can count as compulsory troop choices. Seeker squads count as non-compulsory troop choices, and an army may include at least one attachment using this right of war can reroll dice when they roll to see who's taking the first turn or when attempting to siege the initiative, so you're light. But then limitations, no units in this attachment that include any models of the heavy subtype may be deployed, so no like cataphracti. Can't take any fortifications, and all compulsory troop choices must be reconnaissance squads or scout squads. So basically you have to have at least 2 units of those in some combination. So that's it, and that's how it works. It basically just like realigns what's in your army, so you can kind of theme your army list around certain unit types. I love the Rights of War thing. It's a bit more elegant than like the bajillion different kind of like detachment types in 9th edition 40k. It just means, yeah, we're all playing Space Marines because there's 18 Space Marine armies basically in Horus Heresy. Tailor your, you can basically pick a legion to tailor your army and then sub-tailor it by taking Rights of War, different Rights of War each game. And so no matter how big your collection gets over time, and that's kind of the thing that grew my collection with my Alpha Legion, is I started off doing like a light recon company. It meant that I had different ways of playing the army that kind of kept the game fresh. Angel's Wrath. Any detachment using this right of war eligible to take a Rhino transport can take a Stormwheel gunship instead. For any model with a vehicles unit subtype and both flyer and transport that's using this right of war and that's in reserve, the controlling player can choose to automatically have them enter play without making a roll. And then limitations, all models of the infantry unit type and attachment using this right of war that do not have jump packs have to be embarked on a flyer. All models with both infantry and jump packs using Spread of War must begin the battle in reserve. A detachment using Spread of War may not use any models of the vehicle unit that don't have the flyer subtype. A detachment using Spread of War may not be selected any fortification choices. So basically you're choosing to all arrive by air. So recon, everyone's in a plane or has a jump pack. Right of War, Hunter Phalanx, Legion Skyhunter Squadrons, and Legion Proteus Landspeeder Squadrons can be taken as troop choices. Any Legion Skyhunter Squadron selected as troop choice gains the line subtype. So your Skyhunter Squadrons become line, which is cool. And this is basically your like jet bike detachment. Limitations, models of the vehicle unit subtype included in the detachment must have one of the following subtypes: flyer, fast, or skimmer. All models and attachments using this right of war must be entirely made of models with the infantry subtype, must begin embarked on both a flyer or transport subtype. So you have to all be on flyers for your infantry, so like Storm Eagles and stuff. A detachment using this right of war may not include any models with the Dreadnought unit type. An allied detachment may not use this right of war. An detachment using this right of war may not select any fortification choices. So you basically, you're choosing to all be on bikes or in planes. Drop pod assault, all units in this attachment using this right of war eligible to take a Legion Rhino transport or Legion Land Raider Proteus may instead take a Legion drop pod or Legion Dreadclaw drop pod. When taken as a detachment using this right of war, any unit composed of models of the Dreadnought unit type must either be given a Legion Dreadclaw drop pod or Legion drop pod, Dreadnought drop pod, and you may not select more than one model in the unit. All units in attachment using this right of war selected with the Legion drop pods, Legion Dreadnought drop pods, or Legion Dreadnought drop pods as dedicated transports must deploy using the drop pod assault. No fortifications, and any models selected as part of attachment that do not have those must be placed in reserve and cannot take part on any alternative deployments like deep striking or flanking. So you're just arriving by plane. And the rules for drop pod assaults are here. Prior to the Legion, so your veteran squads, Cataphracti, and Tartarus can be taken as troops. Any Legion Terminators, Cataphracti squads, Tartarus squads, or veteran squads taken as compulsory choice gain the line. So all your Terminators gain the line, which is amazing. And any units entirely composed of models with either the Cataphracti Terminator armor, Tartarus, or other pattern Terminator armor that is normally selected as an elite choice may be included in a detachment using this right of war as a troop choice. So later, what that's saying is later on, if there's Terminators you can take that are like not these Terminators, so like, but they have that as an equipment choice, so like the Salamander special ones, the Iron Hand special ones, they get to also get the line subtype. Or sorry, can be included as troops. They don't get line, that's right. Yeah, so the compulsory ones gain line. So if you take more than 2 units, they're not getting line, but take 2 big fat units of those units and you'll get the line subtype. And then limitations, no allies. Detachment using this right away may only select a single heavy support choice and a single fast attack choice. An allied detachment, no fortifications, and an army using this right away does not include more non-infantry than it does infantry units. Underworld Assault. It's like the jet bike one, but or the drop pod one, but for termites, which is cool. All infantry that do not have a version of the bulky X rule must begin embarked in a Legion Termite Assault drill, which is amazing. No fortifications. Armored Spearhead. All units in this detachment using this right aware eligible to take a Rhino transport may select a Land Raider Proteus as a dedicated transport instead, as long as they have 10 models or less. Legion Praetor Squadrons in a detachment using this right aware may be selected as Predator Squadrons rather, not Praetor Squadrons. Can be troop choices. Cycarin Squadrons are elites. If the detachment uses this right of war, single Legion Cycarin Squadron or single Legion Predator Squadron composed of only a single model may be selected as an HQ choice. So you can basically take a tank company, which I think is really neat. And then you get a special warlord trait, the Master of Armor. A warlord with this warlord trait gains the Master of Legion special rule and a 5+ invulnerable save and increases its ability skill by +1, but may not select a command squad or any other variant of the retinue special rule. So basically you can nominate a tank to be a Praetor, which is kind of cool. Limitations. All units in this attachment using this right of war with all the infantry type must begin the battle embarked on a model with the transport subtype. No fortifications and no things with a movement of 0. And this right of war may only be selected for the primary detachment, but you could take an allied detachment on top of it. Brethren of Iron, which basically means Castellax Battle Automata Manacles, which are found in the Liber Mechanicum book. Hey, the announcement of another rulebook. Yay, Liber Mechanicum. Sweet. But it means that you can take Castellax as non-compulsory troop choices, Vorax Battle Automatic and Vorax as well, and Domitar Battle Automata Maniples. Any Legion Tech Marine detachment may gain a Cortex controller for 20 points. You may not have more units that include one or more automata types than the total number of units that do not have it. At least one model with a Cortex controller must be included in the attachment for every 3 models with the automata unit type. No models or units in detachment be given the Paragon of Metal special rule. See the Liber Mechanicum. Like it is already written and referred to here. A model with the Forge Lord Legion's Consularis upgrade must be taken as a compulsory HQ choice in order for the army to use this right of war. So you have to have a Forge Lord, basically. And then last one, Fury of the Ancient. In a detachment using this right of war, Legion Contemptor Dreadnoughts may be taken as troops. Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talons taken as the compulsory troop choices gain the line. That's amazing. A single Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talon in the detachment composed of only one Dreadnought can be taken as an HQ choice. A Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talon selected in this manner must take the Venerable Ancient upgrade for 30 points. And that gives you the character subtype Master Legion Eternal Warrior and an Iron Halo, which gives you a 4+ invulnerable save, but does not replace all the effects of the automatic deflector, but may not select a command squad. And then limitations, all compulsory troop choices in the detachment using this right of war must be Contemptor Dreadnought Talons. No models of the Legion Consularis special rule in the detachment using this right of war may select a console choice other than Forge Lord, Primaris Medicae, or Mortificator. A detachment using this right of war may only include a single fast attack choice and a single heavy support choice that does not consist of models entirely with the Dreadnought unit type, and a detachment can't take fortifications, no Lords of War, may only be the primary detachment, and you may not roll to seize the initiative. But you can take all Dreadnoughts as an army, which is amazing, because imagine all the cool Dreadnought models coming out in the future. All right, we're into Consularis. These are all the special unit types, and then that's basically it for this first talk, because I've gone through the special rules as we've come across them, and the weapons and stuff too. Centurions and consuls, it's basically used interchangeably, and then unaligned ones, there's lots. A Legion Librarian. You gain the Psyker subtype and may select a single core psychic power. You may replace your power weapon, bolt pistol, or Kraken Bolter with a force weapon at no additional cost, and a psychic code for 15 points. Master of Signals. You get the Strategic Comm special rule. Once per turn, when a friendly unit is called to take a morale or pinning test, that check may be made using the leadership of the character model with this special rule, or any other model in the same unit. So like if you attach them to a command squad or something. In addition, as long as the model with this special rule is in the battlefield, then all reserve rolls can be re-rolled. And you gain a Cognos Signum, Vox Disruptor Array, Augury Scanner, and NCO Vox at no additional point cost. A Legion Master of Signals may not select a combi weapon of any type: Boarding Shield, Bolter, Power Fist, Thunder Hammer, Lightning Claws, Combat Bike, or Jet Bike. A Legion Esoterist. Oh, so you were like a band librarian. A Legion Esoterist gains the Psyker subtype and the Anathemata discipline, so basically the bad guy discipline. And you may take up to 3 non-compulsory troops or elite choices from the Ruin Storm Demon Army list. The maximum number of units that may be selected from the Runestorm Demon Army list is always 3 regardless of the number of Astartes in the army. These choices are paid for in points and occupy slots in the Force org chart as normal. So this is your whatchamacallit, your first heretic, the Word Bearers. This is your Word Bearers console, basically. And this is the Psychic Discipline for the Anathemata. You can Seal the Veil, Psychic Power. Basically, like, tries to banish demons, or Breach the Veil, Psychic Power, try and bring demons on. And then Void Darts. It's a Assault 12, Sanctic, Deflagrate, Psychic Focus, Strength 5, AP 4 attack. Sanctic, a weapon with this special rule, always wins models in a demon unit on 2+, and any successful and vulnerable saves made by models of the demon unit against any wounds inflicted must be rerolled. So basically, if you're Esoterist, you're either like, so you can take demons in your army. So like, let's say you were a Esoterist Thousand Sun. You could have your, like, it's the beginning of the Horus Heresy, kind of friendly demons that are wandering around, and you'd bring them on, or you could try and seal them in. You could even make an argument that, like, Wolf Priests and Rune Priests could be Esoterists. Legion Champion, you basically never back down. If possible, you must issue and accept a challenge. You can gain a Paragon Blade for no additional point values. And you increase your weapon skill to 6. In addition, during an assault phase where the model in this fight subphase is engaged in a challenge or enters into a challenge, this model and all friendly models in the same combat gain Fearless. So you're fearless as long as you're in a challenge, and you get a free Paragon Blade. The Legion Delegates, he's basically like a mini master of the Legion. He gains Master of the Legion, but may be included in armies of less than 1,000 points. And then you can rally the Legion. Once per battle at the start of any of the controlling... Oh, sorry, you can take a command squad too. Once per battle, at the start of the controlling player's turns, this rule may be activated. Once per activated, take a leadership test for this model. If it's passed, then all friendly units that are pinned or falling back and have at least one model that can draw line of sight to this model immediately rally and are no longer pinned or falling back. He basically just, like, does his, like, rallying cry. A Chaplain, everybody becomes leadership 10 and gains Stubborn and Hatred if he joins the unit. And then War Gear gains a power weapon that's mastercrafted at no additional cost. Doesn't gain a Rosarius, though, which I think is interesting. I would have given him the 4+ and vulnerable save, too. Legion Vigilator gets the Mark for Death and Master Sniper special rule. So Mark for Death, you can call somebody out. Master Sniper, when making a shooting attack with any weapon that has the Sniper special rule, it adds Rending 2+ and Shell Shock 1. And then War Gear, it gains a Mastercrafted Nemesis Bolter and Melta Bombs at no additional point cost, and can never have a jet bike or a jump pack or regular bike. A Legion Pathfinder gains Scout, Infiltrate, Move Through Cover, and Pathfinder special rules, and has movement characteristic of 8 and Skirmish. So you can join a Scout squad basically and still have that 3-inch coherency. And then a Legion Pathfinder must exchange his Artificer armor for Scout armor at no additional point cost, and gains Mastercrafted Astartes Shotgun for free. Can never take a Combat Bike, Jet Bike, or Warhawk jump pack. Legion Herald gains Fearless and Fear 1, and must take a Legion Standard instead of a Bolt Pistol, Bolter, or Combi Weapon. Legion Forge Lord gains Battlesmith 4+ to fix stuff, Master of Automata, and Legion's Phalanxes. An army that includes one or more model with this special rule can take up to 3 Thallax cohorts as non-compulsory elites choices. So basically, you could take the Thallax cohorts just by taking this guy. If you take the whole Rite of War, then you can take the Battle Automata as troops and stuff too. And they're found in the Liber Mechanicum book. So yeah, more books coming. Legion Warlord gains a Machinator array at no additional point cost and may select a Cortex Controller or Cyber Familiar. Primus Medicae gains Sacred Trust. Any models with the infantry or cavalry unit type in the same unit as this model may reroll any failed It Will Not Die rolls. This effect immediately ends if the model with the Sacred Trust special rule is removed as a casualty or otherwise leaves the unit. That's what an Arthesian gives you, is smart It Will Not Die. You get to come back, regain wounds. Legion Primus Medicae gains an Arthesian for an additional point cost. Can never be given Lightning Claws or Warning Shield. A Siegebreaker gains the Sunder and Art of Destruction special rules. At the start of each shooting phase, the controlling player may nominate one friendly unit with at least one model within 6 of a model with this special rule. That unit gains the Sunder special rule for the duration of the shooting phase. So you basically hang out with people and gain Sunder. So take your Legion Heavy Support Squad, give them Sunder, and just have them fire rocket launchers at vehicles. Gain a Nuncio Vox and 3 Phosphex bombs at no additional cost. In addition, any Legion Rapier carriers and quad launchers in the same detachment can be upgraded to have Phosphex canister shot for 20 points per model. And any Legion Arquitor squadrons with Morbus Bombards can take Phosphex shells for 20 points too. Ugh. The Legion Armistos Gains the heavy subtype and may not take jump packs, combat bikes, or jet bikes. And then gains an augury scanner and Cognis Signum for no additional point cost, and can have one of the following: a mastercrafted heavy bolter, Volkite culverin, las cannon, plasma cannon, multi-melta, autocannon, heavy flamer, or mastercrafted missile launcher. So basically it's a console that joins heavy support squads and gains that cool weapon. Now my favorite, the Legion Mortat, the big gunfighter. He gains scout, counterattack, bitter duty, and chain fire. In addition, Legion Mortat may never be selected as the army's warlord. Chain fire, when he rolls to hit, he can keep rolling to hit. So you have 2 pistol, 2 weapons. You make 4 shots for a total of 24 rolls to hit over 6 full attacks. The hit rolls in chain fire can never be re-rolled, and weapons that do not roll to hit may not make chain fire attacks. When a weapon making a chain fire attack for the weapon gets hot or armor bane, Melta special rules. Roll for each hit individually. If a 1 is rolled, stop rolling to hit immediately. So if you use plasma pistol, you have to stop rolling to hit. If you don't, you just roll all the shots at once. Melta special room can make up to 6 attacks in the shooting phase with each point of attack you're normally allowed to make. When making a chain fire attack with more than 2 appropriate weapons, if one gets hot and one doesn't, then do them separately, and you can never prepare for reaction with chain fire. Legion Mortat gains rad grenades and a second bolt pistol for no additional point cost, and may exchange its bolt pistol for a disintegrator pistol for 20 points per weapon. Legion Mortat cannot take a combat bike or a jet bike, but you could take a jump pack. A Mortificator, a special tech marine that basically sticks people in dreadnoughts. He's a Keeper of the Dead, Ancient Devotion, and Battlesmith 6+. He can still fix things. Keeper of the Dead. A detachment that includes a model with a special rule may take an additional Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talon composed of a single model as part of the same force org chart as the model with a special rule. The model with the special rule must join the Dreadnought unit that has been selected. This is an exception to Dreadnought unit subtypes, so it would normally keep units from joining them. And then Ancient Devotion. While a model with this special rule is part of the unit, all Dreadnought models in that unit gain it will not die. So basically, he can hang out as part of the unit with a Dreadnought and give it will not die 5+. And he's the only guy that can join a unit of Dreadnoughts. And then War Gear gains a servo arm and a corpusant stave at no additional point cost, and cannot take a combat bike, jet bike, or Warhawk jump pack. A Praevian, which is the Automata guy, gains Master of Automata and Legion Cybernetica special rule. An army that includes a model with a special rule may take a single Castellax Battle Automata Maniple or a single Vorax Battle Automata Maniple in the same chart. Any model with the Castellax Battle Automata gains the Legion Astartes X special rule as the Praevian. And then a Legion Praevian with a Cortex controller gains a Cortex controller at no additional point cost and can select a Cyber Familiar at 15 points. Can take a combat bike, jet bike, or Warhawk jump pack. And that's it. That's it. We got through the first part, first 140-ish pages. Weapons, cool pictures, and you can see it is just nothing but rules for those first 140 pages. And that's the Liber Astartes, both Hereticus and Astartes. So both these Libers, basically, the first 140 pages are exactly the same. And that's the core stuff everyone can have. So that should give you a good starting point for figuring out what Legion you want to play, taking a look at the different unit types that are available right now through Forge World or through the Praetors today. And I mean, just with what comes in the Age of Darkness box set, you can make a really robust core army, but those models, you could use them for tons of other things too. You could, if you got the support pack, you could easily make a bunch of the veteran squads. You could make the support squads. You could make if you buy the Mark III armor, you could make give them chainswords and make them into the assault squads. There's all kinds of stuff you could do. There's a lot of options just with the currently available plastics. And when I looked at my Alpha Legion army, I was like, I've already got Pride of the Legion. I can almost do a light recon company. I just need to paint a squad of scouts to go with them. I have a whole bunch of options out of the gate, which I'm pumped about. And so yeah, I think these two books, I don't think they're mandatory to buy both of them, because you're going to know what 90% of what your opponent's army does because you share it across both books, just with the core stuff that's in here, right? So don't worry about picking up both. I don't think. I would pick up the one for the side or the Legion that you were most attracted to at the beginning, you thought you were going to play with, and you can go check out hopefully all 18. There's a lot to dig through here. I'm going to try and get all 18 Legions out today as well, so you can go through and see the individual Legion rules and stuff like that. But it's going to be a photo finish. This is a lot. This is a whole lot of The recording isn't that bad for each of the legions, but the editing is going to be a whole bunch. So I'm going to do my best to have them up today. If not, you're getting a great look at the beginning of what's in these books, and you'll see lots more Horus Heresy to come. So big thanks for watching, and for GW to send me these books so I can go through them and give you the skinny on what's in them here on day one. And yeah, we'll see you for more GMG reviews hopefully today. Until then, I'm Ash. I'm working. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.